why do we want to learn the three principal path? Because this is, we call it micro lamrim, and lamrim means steps on the path to enlightenment. Over the 55 years of we call it Buddha's teaching career, he has taught a lot of things. In fact, in the collection, the Kangyur collection, there are 900 over volumes of his teaching, right? So a lot of content. And if we are not familiar, we don't know where we should start. In fact, this is my experience when I was younger. I thought, hey, I want to learn something about Buddhism, and I was kind of confused and didn't know how to start. So Three Principal Paths is a book that, or the steps on the path to enlightenment, or known as Lamrim, is a structured instruction, step-by-step instruction, how to reach enlightenment. And so it's a very important book. But the Lamrim Chemo itself, the main Lamrim book, is called Lamrim Chemo by Je Tsongkhapa. It has 10,000 pages or something, which is huge. And of course, it takes time to learn everything. And Pabonga Rinpoche, who is in our lineage, taught the whole series, the whole book in 14 days. And it was actually recorded and become the book called Liberation, given on the palm of your hand. Yeah. And this Liberation is our main book that Geshe Michael is using in all the Lamrim teachings the past 10 years. That is also a big book, right? In fact, the translated English version consists of 3 thick volumes. So it also takes time to digest everything. So here, Je Tsongkhapa condensed again. So Je Tsongkhapa actually did make it simpler from the big Lamrim Chemo. He make it into the medium length. And then he also make it into this micro, which consists of only 14 verses, which is relatively easier to learn and study. And these three principal paths, basically we are focusing on all the 14 verses, right? Yesterday, we covered until class 6, class 1 to class 6, and we covered until verse 5 verses. So today we are going to cover the remaining 9 verses, which is a lot, right? So let's continue. Oh yeah, beside that, we also discuss about how to take a Lama. So there are 10 qualities of a teacher. We quickly go through so 10 qualities of the teacher. The first 3 are basically something that we are pretty familiar. Yeah, is the morality, mindfulness, and the wisdom, right? So morality, mindfulness, and the wisdom. This is basically the 3 big collections, the 3 basket of the teaching. And then the other 7 are related to other qualities. The next 3 are related to the self-practice, right? So a good teacher must be rich in scripture. Can you see my screen? You cannot. Can you see? Cannot see? Oh, looks like you cannot see, correct? Can you see? Cannot see, okay. Oh yeah, okay. All right, let me do something. If you cannot see, that means I must have opened too many tabs. So I should close them away. Okay, let me try again.
Check again. Check again.
All right. Now still cannot see. Okay, no good. Need to close some more. Okay. And then, yeah, so close down. This one.
You the one give me.
Okay, now I know Les Nico is a Vietnamese, right? So, okay, let's try again. And anyway, this is screen sharing is paused, so I need to resume share. Resume share. Come on. Yeah, I don't know why I cannot share the screen. It's paused. Anyway, let me try the other one. This is okay, right? Yeah, but my PowerPoint is not sharing. Okay, interesting. Okay, let me close the PowerPoint and share again. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why my PowerPoint cannot share. Anyway, I'm Brian, can I send to you and you help me to share? Is it okay, Brian?
Yes, no problem.
Okay. I need to find where is my PowerPoint. Okay, PowerPoint ACI PPT. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I sent to your Telegram, yeah. Okay. All right, so while waiting for something is wrong. Okay, let me my PowerPoint, my Telegram. Ryan. Oh, okay. Okay, it went up. Okay, so yeah, actually no. Yeah, okay. So let's continue. So so first three are basically the morality, mindfulness, or concentration, and then the third one is wisdom. And then the next three are related to own self-practice, which is rich in scripture. A good teacher must have a good knowledge of the scripture, and then have a deep realization of suchness, which is page 25. Yeah, page 25. You just type 25 and enter, and then you will jump. Yeah, 25, enter. So deep realization of suchness means a good teacher must understand about emptiness. Of course, the best is directly, but it is very difficult. So the second best is indirectly through the clear thinking, right? And number 6 is excellent spiritual quality. To become a good teacher, we must have a good spiritual quality so that we can guide our student properly. Okay, next page. And the last 4 are related to being a teacher, right? Master instructor means the teacher needs to know how to teach and also have love and compassion, driven by love and compassion. And of course, the last 2, yeah, next page is great efforts and beyond discourage. Great effort means take effort, enjoy. Yeah, actually, if you read Tibetan, chunche means enjoy the work, enjoy the hard work, and then beyond discourage. So this is a criteria for good teacher. Now for criteria for authentic Dharma, right? You can tap twice. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Ryan, 3 pages ahead. So basically, it has to be taught by enlightened beings, meaning that we need to be able to trace our teaching to a proper lineage. It's very important, right? Good teaching shouldn't be something that the teacher create himself or herself, but it has to be traced to an enlightened being or traced to somebody who has done it before. Next page. And then it has to be cleaned of all errors. Yeah. Because imagine if the teaching is new and it is not tested and then there are errors, basically we are wasting our time. And finally, the last one is it should have helped people, practitioners, to become successful, right? So this is basically the 3 requirements for an authentic Dharma. And how to become a good student, the next page. Basically, we need to be free of preconception. Yeah. This is related to the 3 problems of the pot, if you remember, right? The cover is closed, the pot is dirty, and the pot has holes. So we don't want all those things. And then intelligence spiritually, somebody who is intelligent, somebody who eager to learn, including coming to mixed nuts. Okay, I hope if you have time, come to mixed nuts. Okay, and I know it's a lot of things, yeah. But if you are busy, then don't force yourself. But if you have time, come to listen. It's very, very useful. And finally, high spiritual aspirations. You want to achieve good result from your spiritual practice. Yeah, so that is a good student. And then we went into the renunciation. Okay, what is renunciation? Renunciation means we understand that this life, which is we call it wheel of life, is full of sufferings, and we want to get away from this suffering world. A quiz for you. In DCI, how do we teach you about this world which is full of suffering? Which life tool are we talking about in DCI for this topic? Okay, Ryan, we can take off the PowerPoint now. So which life tool in DCI we are talking about the wheel of suffering? Anybody wants to guess? Oh, I see Michael. Hi, Michael. Oh, we have Laurentina. Cool, cool. We have Ferry, Keely. Keely, can you show your face? DCI 10. No, I mean DCI 1, but which life tool? DCI 1, which life tool? Actually, very easy. It's life tool 1. 5 goals. When we tell you 5 goals, we want to tell you that, hey, life is suffering. We don't have money. We don't have relationship. We don't have health. We don't have peace of mind. So, and what do we tell you? Aim for them. Aim for the 4 and 5 goals, right? Aim for life full of abundance, full of money. Aim for life with harmony. Aim for life with health. Aim for life with peace of mind. And finally, aim for life when you become superhero. So life tool 1, the 5 goals, basically we are telling you, hey, this is life full of suffering, and we need to try, we need to aim, we need to plant seeds to get out of this life of suffering. Okay, so that is renunciation, and we learn how to practice renunciation. How to practice renunciation means we need to we call it to stop desire for this life and next life. We want to stop the desire for this life and next life, right? Stop desire for this life, there are two ways, right? Difficulty of having life of leisure and fortune. So we talk about leisure and fortune. We talk about 8 leisures and 10 fortunes yesterday, right? That is one. And secondly, thinking about impermanence, or doing meditation on death meditation. And I shared with you there are 3 sources. One is the meditation introduced by Pabongka Rinpoche in the ACI 1. Yeah, we are doing some visualization of what happens before we die. And then the second method is by Geshe Michael in the Thailand Lam Rim. And Geshe Michael brought us into visualization the moment after we die, about these elements, disintegration. And then the third type is the traditional death meditation, where we do the contemplation of the 3 characteristics of death. And each has 3 elements, which is death is certain. All of us, one day we must die. And then second is that we don't know when we will die. It can be any time. Yeah, it doesn't mean that older people will die first. Young people can also die first. Yeah. Today I read another news, MMA athlete from Singapore. You know MMA? Mixed martial arts. Mixed martial arts is those, you know, I don't know, I don't understand, but to me, they just anyhow hit people, you know, you can kick, you can punch, you can do whatever you like with your body, with whatever. So this girl is 17 years old, MMA athlete, and she died. I don't know why, you know, young people can just die. And finally, number 3 is that when we die, we only bring our merits with us. We don't bring anything else. Yeah. So these are the 3 kind of meditation on death, which is leading us to the concept of impermanence. And then the second, so to develop renunciation, stop desire for this life, and then stop the desire for next life. To stop the desire for next life, there are 2 methods also. We understand the law of karma. Yeah. Seeds. We say apple seeds. Apple comes from apple seeds. And then seeds are small, fruits are big. And then if you don't plant, you don't get result. If you plant, you will definitely get result, right? So that is the law of karma. And finally, understand various sufferings of this samsara. So we talk about 3 sufferings, 6 sufferings, and 8 sufferings, okay? Okay, now we go into the bodhicitta. What is bodhicitta? Bodhicitta is renunciation. If we talk about renunciation, is that we realize this life is suffering and we want to get out of this suffering. Bodhicitta means not only we want to get out of this suffering, but we see a lot of other beings are also suffering, and we want everybody, we want to help everybody get out of the suffering. And then in ACI 2, we are going to talk more on the bodhicitta, but here I want to give you a simple definition of bodhicitta, right? Yeah. So bodhicitta, the definition is quite long, but the short definition of bodhicitta is by Lord Maitreya. Lord Maitreya is the next Buddha. He has already done his teaching, and he said that bodhicitta is the wish to get into enlightenment as quickly as possible so that we can help all beings. We can help all beings out of the samsara. All right. So how do we develop bodhicitta? There are two ways. Oh, before that, benefits of having bodhicitta. Ryan, page 55, please. So benefit of having bodhicitta, or maybe let me try if I can do it. No good. All right. I really need you to help me, Ryan. Okay. So, yeah, thank you. So benefit of bodhicitta, there are 10. And Geshe Michael ever covered it before in Lamrim 34, I think. In Lamrim 34. And these are the 10, right? All your good deeds become a cause of omniscience, meaning that whatever you do, whatever good things that you do, it will help you to, we call it, to get rid of the obstacles to omniscience. Remember yesterday we spoke about to become a Buddha. Okay, let's quickly review, okay? When we see emptiness directly, what title are we getting? Grace. You can type, okay? I know you can't talk. Yes, Arya, okay? And then after we get into DPE, after we become Arya, okay, we want to become Buddha. To become Buddha, there are two obstacles we need to get rid of. What are they? Anybody remembers? What are the two obstacles to become enlightened? Okay, never mind. You don't remember. Obstacles to mental affliction or negative emotion, and obstacles to omniscience. Yeah. Yeah, Ivo. Okay, obstacles to mental affliction. When we get rid of this, what title do we get? When we get rid of mental affliction, where do we go? We say we become arhat and we go to nirvana. Okay, so that is just 1/2 of enlightenment, right? And how to get rid of mental afflictions? This is covered in the Wheel of Life. We need to get rid of link number 1, which is misunderstanding. And when misunderstanding is stopped, we basically stop the whole wheel from turning. And when we stop the wheel from turning, we can get out of the wheel. We don't have to stay inside the wheel. So that is how we get rid of the obstacles to mental affliction. How about the other half? Obstacles to omniscience, you then need the bodhicitta. Because when you have bodhicitta, when you have bodhicitta, what title do you get? When you have bodhicitta, what title do you get? You become a bodhisattva. Yeah, everybody is expert. So when you become a bodhisattva, when you have bodhicitta, when you become bodhisattva, there are 10 benefits. Now, my question, is it possible for us to become a bodhisattva before we become an Arya? Is it? Yes, Grace say yes. Anybody else say yes? Or yes? Oh, everybody say yes. All right. Nobody say no? Yeah. Why? Why we can become how do we become a bodhisattva? By having bodhicitta, right? All right. Okay, enough of all this. Okay, let's continue. So benefit of, I see Ahui is here. Yay. It looks like Medan from Indonesia. Medan people are more excited with all this. All right. Yeah, of course, Alice is always here. Thank you very much, Alice, and also Rini. And yeah, okay. So first, all our good deeds, all our good seeds will help us to get rid of the omniscience to obstacles to omniscience. You become a person worthy of the honor of all beings. You become a person worthy of the honor of all beings, meaning that, Geshe Michael use the example. You go to Starbucks, you order Starbucks. The person who serves you Starbucks, because you are a bodhisattva with bodhicitta, the person who serves you Starbucks will get lots of merits. So indirectly, you help a lot of beings to plant a lot of good seeds. Of course, you outshine practitioners of the lower path. Yeah, we call them listeners and self-made Buddha. Okay, next page, please. And even the small deed, good deed you do will become a spiritual practice. So Geshe Michael used the example of feeding a bird, feeding birds. You go to McDonald's and then you are eating French fries, you can give the birds to eat, and then that become a spiritual practice. But it's illegal in Singapore. Okay, never do that in Singapore. I don't know about other countries. You cannot feed the birds in Singapore. Otherwise, NEA will come and fine you. Fine, F-I-N-E. Okay, $300. Okay, not cheap. You feed the birds your French fries, they fine you $300. A lot of money. Okay. And then the good deeds you do become activity of a bodhisattva because you are a bodhisattva. And the Buddhas look at you as their sons and daughter. And next page, please. And then all other bodhisattvas will consider you as their brother and sister. And then by having a bodhicitta, you enter into the greater way. Yeah, so there are 3 tracks that we can enter. The listener track, the self-made Buddha track, and finally the greater way, the bodhisattva way. And finally, having in the greater way, it is possible to become enlightened in one lifetime. Okay, so that is the benefit of having bodhicitta. Okay, now take away the sharing, the PowerPoint. Yeah. Okay, now how do we develop bodhicitta? So there are 2 ways. There are 2 ways. Yeah. The first one is exchanging self and others. And Geshe Michael has been teaching this a lot in DCI. Which DCI level did we learn this? Anybody remember? Grace say 3. No. Yes, Shin answered 8. Shin is correct. Yeah, so level 8, we learn the exchanging of self and others meditation. Yeah, in fact, in Lamrim, Geshe Michael was also teaching that, right? So this is one, but here in the 3 principle path, we are not going to cover this meditation, but instead there is another meditation called 7-step mother meditation or cause and effect. Yeah. So this is an interesting meditation. I call it 3-1-3. Okay, 3 + 1 + 3. So it is actually 7 steps. So 3. So this is how I memorize. Okay, 3-1-3. Of course, it starts from actually 0-3-1-3. Okay, 0 leading to 3, leading to 1, leading to 3. Okay, so how do we do this meditation? I think you should listen back to my recording, okay, in the Demo Dharma, but this is just a review. The 0 is equanimity. Equanimity means we treat people equally. equally. There is a meditation for equanimity also. I think we covered in the ACI one, okay, in the recording. So first, before we go into the 313, we do the equanimity first. After we finish the equanimity, then we go into the first three. The first three is recognizing, recall all the kindness, and repay the kindness, okay? And repay the kindness. Recognize, remember, and repay. Okay? So in our meditation, we try to establish that all beings have been our mother before. So this is recognize. Recognize all beings as our mother. It is a very cool meditation. It is a very fun meditation, okay? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if there is enough interest, maybe we can have just ACI meditation practice session, We can go through all the meditations that we learn in ACI courses. I saw Shin with the thumb. If you all interested, we can organize that. In fact, ACI meditations are very, very fun. So first, we recognize all beings as our mother. Secondly, we remember. So after we recognize them as mother, we remember their kindness. Step 3, after we remember, then we set the intention that we want to repay their kindness. Okay, so that is the 3. And then what is 1? After we promise to repay their kindness, we go into step number 4, which is love, great love. Okay, it's a love. This love is just like a mother with a single child. Okay, mother with a single child. So imagine your single child is sick. How would you as a mother behave? You want to take away the sickness. You want the best for your child, So that is what we say love. We want to have the best for our child. And then we go into the step number 5, which is 5, 6, 7. Okay. Actually, I should put 3, 2, 2, right? 3, 2, 2 is better rather than 3, 1, 3, because 4 and 5. 4 is love, 5 is compassion. Now, I want to ask you, what is the difference between love and compassion? Anybody wants to answer me? What is love? What is compassion? We always say loving and compassion, or loving compassion, but they are different. How do you differentiate them? How do you differentiate love and compassion? Yes, Ivo.
Yeah, thank you. I think love is about we want to bring the happiness to the people, and the compassion, we want to take away their suffering.
Yeah, good. Wow, amazing. Yeah. All right, thank you, Ivo. That is a very good question. Okay, love, you want the best. You want happiness for others. Compassion means you don't want suffering. You want to take away suffering from them. Okay, and I always like to use Tonglen as the illustration. Yeah, Tonglen. First, we take away the suffering, so that is the compassion, and then we give all the happiness. That is the love. All right. So step number 4 and 5 is love and compassion. Yeah. So because they are our mothers, because they have been kind to us, and because we want to repay their kindness, step number 4, we want them to be happy. Step number 5, we don't want them to suffer. And then we go into step number 6. 6 is I like to call it Laksam Namdak. What is Laksam Namdak? Those of you who read Karma of Love, what is Laksam Namdak? I think it's in question 5 or 6. Question 5 or 6. Book Karma of Love. Bibit Cinta is in Indonesia. Laksam Namdak, anybody remember? Laksam Namdak means the buck stops at me. No matter what, even if nobody is doing it, I will do it. So step number 6 is Laksam Namdak. I will take charge. Even if nobody is helping me, even if nobody is going to support me, I will do it myself. That is step number 6. And finally, step number 7, we develop bodhicitta. Okay, so this is the, we call it the 7 step cause and effect. Sometimes I call it mother's meditation. Okay, and I think we can call it, I used to call it 313, but yeah, I think still 313 or 322. All right. So this is how we develop bodhicitta. Of course, if you learn the exchange of self and others, you can also use that. Yeah. And yeah, another meditation that Geshe Michael taught is, we call it the 13 steps. 13 steps, he called it 13 steps. He also called it 13 step cause and effect. Okay, and this is a special meditation that Geshe Michael found in Trijang Rinpoche's house. Trijang Rinpoche is Ken Rinpoche's Lobsang Tachin's teacher, right? So when Geshe Michael was still in the monastery, he used to attend the winter debate, you know, during the winter. And Geshe Michael attended 4 times, I think. It's like Olympics, you know, every year near winter, all the monasteries will send their best representative to attend, to take part in the winter debate. So Geshe Michael, I think, joined 4 times, which is a very good record. And when they went to the winter debate location, they were from Gyalrong, you know, which is in Galuk, right? So they need a place to stay. So there was once they were given a place to stay at this Trijang Rinpoche's place, and on the wall, Geshe Michael saw these 13 steps. So he actually learned the 13 steps and taught it to us. And these 13 steps actually combine the exchange and the mother's meditation. So it's a cool meditation. I don't know whether, I think I have taught some of you before. At least I know I taught you before. And then I think Keely, you might have learned before. So if we have chance, we can practice together. It's a very cool meditation, right? It's a combination. So by developing bodhicitta, we want to become a bodhisattva, right? Bodhisattva. And bodhisattva is very, we call it very noble title. In fact, this, in Lam Rim, okay, yeah, in Lam Rim, right? And this morning during Mixed Nuts, Seiji has completed his Lojong book, right? The Crown of Knife. So his next book is the Bodhisattva Acharya Avatara, is the Bodhisattva way of life. So in this, and it is written by I forgot the name, Shantideva, Master Shantideva, all right? Okay, it's written by Master Shantideva, and And we were discussing about the biography of Master Shantideva, right? So it's kind of interesting because this book by Master Shantideva is how we can become a bodhisattva by adopting their way of life. Yeah. So yes, we want to become a bodhisattva because we want to get enlightened quickly for the sake of all living beings, to get them out of samsara, right? So how do you know that you have bodhicitta, right? When you cannot bear to see the sufferings of all beings, and you really want to practice hard to get enlightened quickly. Okay, so that is class 7 and 8. Okay, so that is on the bodhicitta, the second principal path. Now, the third principal path, this is what we call the correct worldview. It is a bit difficult, but hang on, right? Hang on. Okay, what is this correct view? What is this correct worldview, right? Correct worldview, we call it correct worldview because it is a worldview. And worldview is also called belief system. And normally, our belief system evolve according to our maturity. Yeah. For example, when we were young, our belief system, what is our belief system? My parents are the best. That is our belief system. Because when we are young, our mother, our parents, father, take care of us. Yeah, mother start to teach us. Mother bathe us, prepare food for us. Father play with us, bring us, go out. We want to buy something, they give us money. So when we were young, our belief system is parents are the best. And then as we step out of the house, we go to school. Then our belief system change. Agree? So instead of parents, now our world become bigger. Our belief system is that our teacher knows the best. Yeah, whatever teacher tells us, we just take it as the truth. And then we go into the high school, university. Then we learn to rationalize. We learn to debate. Yeah, why did you say this? Can I do that? You know, so we start to rationalize. We start to make experiment. So our belief system is changing all the time. In fact, we upgrade our belief system. By the way, this is advanced level 3, okay? This is advanced level 3. I'm giving you some preview. So when November comes, you have some idea what is advanced level 3. And then after we finish from our university, for example, we go into the society. Our belief system is upgrading all the time. And this belief system also involve sometimes a religion. Yeah. And I don't know whether it is something fortunate or unfortunate. Then our belief system sort of stopped there. Okay, there is no more changes. But luckily, science is still evolving. Our belief system in science is always getting better and better. We learn from the Newtonian physics based on Newton teaching. And then from Newton, we upgrade to Einstein. From Einstein, so we are actually upgrading the belief system, right? So now, this belief system is also worldview, our worldview. And to be able to become enlightened, we need to have the correct worldview, right? Correct worldview. And how do we Why do we need, so I already explained to you, why do we need correct worldview? Because we want to get out, we want to become enlightened, we want to get out of the suffering so that we can help all the living beings. Okay, wow. And so Ahui is driving. Be careful now. Focus on your driving. Okay. Oh yeah, you are on the passenger seat. Okay, sorry. I thought in US that is the driver's seat, which is very dangerous. So this is passenger seat, so it's safe. Okay. So then what is this? And then when we talk about belief system, right? We talk about realities. Yeah, we talk about realities. If you learn seed system, we always like to say that the surface reason and the deeper reason. Yeah, the surface reality and the ultimate reality, right? Surface reason means I need to work so I can earn money. Yeah, I need to study so I can become smarter. But deeper reason means if you want money, you need to plant the seeds. But beside planting the seeds, beside doing the deeper reason, you still need to do the surface reason. Okay, so this is the two realities of our world, and we need to understand both. Now, after we understand the reality, we also need to understand about the interdependence. Interdependence, right? In the difficult term is called, in the Pali language is called paticca samutpada. Okay. In the Sanskrit is called pratitya samutpada. In English, we simply call it dependence or interdependence. All right. Before we talk about this dependence, I want to share with you what we call the four great schools, right? Four great schools. Maybe I'll just show you my screen, okay? Hopefully I can share the screen now. Let me see. Okay, let me share this one. Oh, it's working. Yay. All right. Okay, so instead of doing the presentation, I use the edit mode. This is a beautiful picture, or rather a more beautiful picture. So there are four Buddhism schools in ancient India. Or I would say there are four traditional schools in ancient India, right? So Buddha himself taught that there are only these four schools. I think we can call them A, B, C, D, right? The first two are what we call the Theravada or the Hinayana, the small wheel, and then the C and D are the Mahayana, right? The difference between these two is basically the bodhicitta, but there are deeper differences in there. So the first school is called the Detailist or the Abhidharma, yeah, or sometimes we call it the cause and effect school. The second school is, we call them the Sutris or the Sautantrika, or called logic school. And when we talk about logic, when we talk about the clear thinking, we are talking about this second school, right? You see, logic is part of the Theravada, right? And then the third school is called mind only. Yeah. Mind only. And this is a pretty hot topic. In fact, mind only is very, very popular in China. And if we talk about the Chinese culture traditions, it is influenced by mind only a lot. Yeah. And finally, we call it the highest school is middle way school. And middle way is divided into lower middle way and the higher middle way, right? Or we call it independent and consequence. All right. Now, you see another reference here. The first three schools are called functionalist. Okay, now I want to switch PowerPoint. So I hope you get the idea, right? So let me switch PowerPoint. This is a more boring PowerPoint, but I hope this can help explain the idea better. So in the Abhidhamma school, okay, Abhidhamma school, why we call it Abhidhamma school? Because after Buddha Mahaparinibbana, after Buddha became enlightened and left this world, his major students, 7 major students actually gave a teaching. So, and those are collected as Abhidhamma. So the detailist school, they focus a lot on this Abhidhamma book, Abhidhamma collection for about 500 years. Before the Sutrist people came, the South Tantrika people came, hey, we need to focus back on the Buddha's teaching, which is the sutra, because Abhidhamma is a teaching by his students, not by himself. Yeah, and then the sutra, the Sutrist people then start to focus on the logic also. So what did they teach? So the detailist schools say, what we seek to see as having no existence is any self which is unchanging, singular, and independent. So there is no self which is unchanging, singular, and independent. Okay, so all these are very confusing. If you want to really understand, I think we need to really read the book by Venerable Utpala, the Meditation on Emptiness, right? And then the Sutrist people say, there is no self which can stand on its own and exist in the substantial way. Actually, these two are kind of different, right? Kind of different. The difference is pretty subtle, but here, basically, this is the summary of what they teach. Mind only then came in with even a better definition, right? So what we come to realize as having no existence, yeah, is any case where the subject that holds an object and the object which it holds are made from any different substance. So now, if you have attended advanced level 2, you see that subject and objects are linked together. And the mind only say that they cannot be made from different substance. That means subject and object should come from the same substance. So now if you want to visualize, you visualize about the tree with 2 branches. Okay, tree with 2 branches. Meaning 2 branches, one is subject, one is object. And they have to come from the same substance. Okay, remember the picture? The tree with 2 branches. Okay, so this is mind only. Okay, let's make it easier for you. Okay, detailists say there is no self which is unchanging, singular, and independent, to help you understand better. Okay, basically, Rini, I think you can understand this from the Mahamudra meditation session that we did, right? So this one you can visualize that things will pass. Or maybe if Ivor, you remember DCL level 9, we talk about the 9 worldview to shake your brain. Geshe Michael call it 9 worldview to shake your brain. If you remember the Life Toast name, okay? So things will pass. Things will pass. So that means there is nothing which is unchanging, singular, and independent. Whereas the second concept, the second worldview is talking about there is nothing that can stand on its own, exist in substantial way. Means we don't have control all the time. If you remember Geshe Michael's story, right? Now we have our hand. We tell our hand, go up, go down, left, right. But there comes a day when we don't have control. When we are lying on the bed, we have no control. Even we want to drink water, we also cannot come out. And then the mind only is about that one tree with two branches. Subject and object cannot come from different substance. All right. And then we go to the middle way, Madhyamika, which is divided into lower and higher. The lower is called independent or svatantrika, swa. Swa. I think Indonesian, you remember swa, swasembada, swadaya, alone, self, independent. It means independent, swa, right? And then the higher middle way is called implication, prasangika. These are those people who like to think of, to give you all the, debate you with all the consequence. That's why they are also called consequence. Consequence, okay? They are also called consequence. Okay, so independence say, what we come to refute is any object that exists in some unique way of its own rather than being established as an existent thing simply by virtue to its having appeared to an unaffected awareness. Okay, how do you understand this sentence? You can just think of it as 50-50. Okay, so we have an object out there. We have our seeds open up and project to the seed to make it something. So when I want to show you a pen, there has to be a material up there, and then my pen seeds will open up and make it into a pen, 50-50. But so that means this object out there cannot appear to an unaffected awareness. So this means that there has to be a picture, luminous image coming out of our seeds to make it into a pen. Okay, so this is independent. Implication is saying no existence of an object which exists from its own side, but it should exist through a concept supplied from our side, meaning anything out there should come from our seeds. Okay, very confusing, huh? That's why I purposely give more time for today. All right, now let's not get too confused. Let's move on to something easier. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about interdependence or the dependence, all right? So we have functionalist group. Who are they? ABC. Remember, I talked about ABCD. Yeah. So ABC are called functionalists. Okay, I saw Ivor. Let me share back this picture. So hopefully Ivor can smile. ABC is called functionalist. Okay, got it? I'm looking at your face. Okay, if your face looks very worried, then I'm worried. ABC is functionalist. Now, what do the functionalists say? They say interdependent, things are interdependent because it has cause and effect. So basically, functionalist is talking about cause and effect. Things that everything in this universe need to have a cause. Okay, so that is cause and effect. Indonesian, we say sebab akibat. Okay, sebab akibat. I think this one everyone is very familiar. But this theory of dependence by the functionalists cannot be used for objects which are unchanging and have no causes. What are the objects which are unchanging and have no causes? Anybody? Unchanging and have no causes. I think Alice remember. Okay, Alice is typing. Yeah, emptiness and space. Cause and effect cannot explain emptiness and space because they are unchanging. They don't have cause. And that's when the independent group comes to the picture. Independent group comes to the picture. And what do they say? This is also the lower middle way, right? They say things are interdependent when they have parts. So we can explain emptiness and space by the virtues of their parts. So space, we can say, space consists of parts. What are they? Front, back, left, right, top, bottom, for example, okay? Emptiness, before, during, after. So those are parts. But the third group, the implication group comes in, they say, consequence group. They say things are interdependent when they have taken two things, reasonable basis to be given a name and a reasonable idea to give it a name and come up with an object we gave a name. Okay, now to help you to make your life easier, okay, I put another sentence here. Things are interdependent when they consist of the white screen, okay, which is the first one, a reasonable basis to be given a name, being projected by the mental image from the seeds in our mind to be something, a reasonable idea to give it a name. So, implication group says, for something to be interdependent, we can think of it as a white screen and then projection. If you have white screen and projection, this is dependence according to the higher middle way. Or something that you are very familiar is basically the dog and chew toy theory. Okay, dog and chew toy. Seeds. Yes, we talk about independent, right? Independent group, we talk about parts. But if you don't have the seeds, even if you have the parts, you will not get the object. Okay, so the implication group says that you still need the seeds. In fact, the parts also come from seeds. The parts also come from seeds. Okay, still follow? Now let's continue. So definition of dependence according to the three groups, the functionalist, the independent, and the implication. Okay, functionalist is easy, cause and effect. Independent is easy, parts. And finally, implication is easy. It talks about mental seeds. All right, mental seeds. Okay, now besides understanding about the dependence, we also need to understand about the selfless or no self. Anatta, okay? Anatta. In Japanese, anatta means you, or can means lover, lover, anatta. Selfless. So what do the functionalist group define as selfless? They say there is no self that is not coming from causes and conditions. Yeah. So yes, we have self, but that self must have come from causes. Yeah. Sugeng must have come from causes creating sugeng. Okay. How about independent? Independent say there is no self that has no parts. There is no sugeng without parts. So of course, sugeng has the head. Sugeng has the body. Sugeng has the hands, Yeah, so sugeng must have parts. Sugeng without parts is impossible. But what happened if sugeng is dead? Is that still a sugeng? Right? You still have the parts. You still have the head. You still have the body. You still have the hand. But is it still sugeng? That is when the implication comes in. my mental seeds need to have I need to have a mental seeds to see Sugeng being alive for Sugeng to exist. All right. Okay, so this is the concept of selfless according to the three groups. All right, follow? Okay, I want to go to something more difficult. Is it more difficult? Let me see. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, let's move on slowly, okay? So I hope you follow this idea, right? So we cover a lot. We covered, oh yeah. So the concept of selfless, we can also use it in the pen, for example, right? All the three schools correct. Yeah, of course. You see, we don't call them school, we call them groups, okay? Because the first group, the functionalist group, consists of three schools, remember? Yeah. Okay, let me go back to that picture. So there are 4 schools. Yeah, here I can share this. There are 4 schools. There are 4 schools, but the last school, the middle way school, has 2 parts. So when you count, there are 5, right? There are 5 schools. Although the middle way, the 2 schools are considered lower and higher. But there are 3 groups: functionalist group, independent group, and the consequence group. Okay. And therefore, we analyze the dependence according to these 3 groups. These are the dependents according to the 3 groups, right? And we also talk about the selfless according to the 3 groups. Of course, you can do your analysis with other objects. For example, the pen. Right? The functionalist will say the pen should have come from cause and effect. The pen should have come from the factory, right? But the independents say the pen can only exist if it has parts, the top and the bottom, the inside and the outside, for example. But the implication will say just parts alone will not give you a pen. You need to have a mental seed of pen that is projected out to make you see the pen. Yeah. So these are the 3 groups, and I hope you really understand them. Okay. Next time when I talk about my wheel of life, this will really help your understanding very, very much. Okay. Yeah. 3 doors are different. Okay. 3 doors of expression refers to the 3 ways to plant seeds. Okay. What are they? Action, speech, and thoughts. Those are what we call the 3 doors of expressions. Of course, there are many other 3 doors which are much, much deeper, which is out of the scope of our discussion today. There are no 3 husbands, my goodness. There are only 2 husbands, okay? Why do we have 3 husbands? It's from the mind only. It is from mind only. I think that is ACI 15, okay? Can I wait until ACI 15 to talk about that? But let me tell you, don't confuse yourself with 3 husbands. It's very confusing, okay? If you want, maybe we can have a special session to just discuss about this. This is a mind-only concept covered in ACI 15, and I really want you to understand the basic before you can really do that. You see, where is mind-only? Mind-only is here, okay? And when we talk about the pen and chew toy, we are here. Yeah. Yes, this is number 4, but this is actually the highest school. Why are those called the lower school? Are they less good? Are they worse than the higher school? I would say that they are less sophisticated. Okay. Middle way is the most sophisticated. Middle way has the most sophisticated explanation. Sophisticated means it is applicable anywhere. And it is I would say, the best way to help us progress spiritually. Why are all these called lower school? Because they are less sophisticated, they are more difficult to understand, and we cannot go as fast spiritually if we follow them. So these are just like the worldview that I mentioned. We need to upgrade our worldview as we become more sophisticated. Of course, people who are, sometimes when I speak with people, sometimes when I tell them the pen story, they cannot understand. So in that case, then we can talk to them with the lower school concept. Some people need to do a certain simpler practice, because they cannot comprehend the explanation from the higher school. Okay, so the three husband comes from the mind-only school with the three components, and I think we should discuss about it in other day, not today. Okay, for now, stick to two husband first. The two husband concept is already not easy to understand, but it is still, I would say, more sophisticated than even the three husbands. The number doesn't mean that the higher is the better. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so I hope these three groups explanation, you understand it well, right? And that's all. That is class 9. Now class 10. How do we know that we have the right view already? Okay, how do we know that we have the correct worldview? Okay, it's basically we talk about dependence. We talk about dependence definition from the three groups: cause and effect, parts, and seeds. That is what we call dependence. And now, in order to go to the correct view, we need to also understand the emptiness. The emptiness, right? What is emptiness here? What is the emptiness here? Geshe Michael always like to use the phone, right? The phone. So dependence and emptiness are basically two sides of the same phone, two sides of the same coin. Yeah, two sides of the same phone, right? So the dependence is the positive sides, cause and effect. So when we talk about cause and effect, we say that when there is a cause, there is an effect. When something exists, it must have a cause. Yeah, so this is basically the dependence. When we talk about emptiness, maybe let me show you again this PowerPoint, right? Do you realize all these are actually written in the negative sentences? This is basically the definition of emptiness. Emptiness, according to the functionalists, is that there is no self that is not coming from causes and conditions. Emptiness, according to the independent, there is no self that has no parts. Emptiness, for the implication, there is no self which is not coming from mental seeds. What is dependence? the dependents say things exist if they have causes and conditions. Okay. From the independent, things exist if they have parts. And finally, from implication, things exist if they are coming from mental states. So here, you can say that okay, so here you can see that dependence and emptiness are basically two sides of the same coin. When you understand this, that means your analysis of the correct worldview is complete. If you don't understand that both are related, that means it is still not complete and you need to learn further. Okay, very easy, right? And finally, there is one more thing I need to talk about is here. Extremes. When we talk about middle way, we talk about middle way and not on the extremes. What are the extremes we talk about? What are the extremes we talk about? According to the independent, so you see when we talk about extremes, because it's middle way, we only have the independent and the consequence, right? Implications. The two extremes, according to independent, things exist by themselves and do not depend on other things to exist. This is the self-existence. The nihilism say things do not exist because they are empty. Okay, so on one hand, we say things exist and they do not depend on other things. This is the, and then the other side, we say nihilism means things do not exist because they're empty. So these are the two extremes defined by the independent, right? And how do we resolve this? Is that for the self-existence, we need to understand that emptiness. We need to understand emptiness of things to avoid self-existence. Yeah. So when we, in order not to fall into the extreme to think that things exist by themselves and do not depend on other things, we need to understand emptiness so that we don't fall into self-existence. And to avoid nihilism, we need to understand the dependence so that we don't fall into the extreme that things do not exist because they are empty. Okay. Now, on the other hand, according to the consequence, right? Consequence says things do not exist because they arise from conditions. Therefore, when things do not exist, it has emptiness with potential. And when they arise from conditions, they are dependent. So this sentence has two parts, right? And these two parts are explaining the emptiness and dependence. And you watch here, this is reverse. Okay, the definition of self-existence and nihilism are still the same, right? But the solution is reverse. Okay. When we talk about here, when in the independent, we talk about to prevent self-existence, we need to understand emptiness. To prevent nihilism, we need to understand dependence. But in the teaching of consequence, to prevent falling into self-existence, we need to learn, this is what? This is dependence. And to prevent nihilism, we need to learn about emptiness. Yeah, so they are reverse. They are reverse. Oh, I see Ivor's face is getting more and more. Well, good. I mean, these are good thinking, okay? I know these are very deep. These are not easy, all right? But the fact that you are listening to it now means you are planting the seeds, okay? You are planting the seeds. So don't worry. One day you will be able to appreciate it. One day you will be able to appreciate it. Now, where's my arrow? Okay, anyway. Okay, so if you, okay, I think I will share this in the group. So maybe later you all can also think about it, all right? So this is all from ACI 1, okay? This is all. Of course, we also talk about this direct perception. So anyway, no, I'm not going to go there. Okay, so let's recap. Renunciation. How do we develop renunciation? First, to stop the, what do you call that? To stop the desire for this life and to stop the desire for next life. To stop the desire for this life, there are two methods. One is the leisure and fortune. Yeah, and the other one is the meditation on death and impermanence. Okay, that is to stop desire for this life. To stop desire for next life, there are two ways also. Law of karma. Yeah, law of karma. Because when you understand the law of karma, you realize that we are planting more bad seeds than good seeds. And because of that, you get worried. Because if you have more bad seeds than good seeds, what is the chance of us being reborn as a human? I think very slim, you know? So because of that, maybe we should resolve not to get reborn in the next life. Let's quickly finish what we need to finish by this life. Quickly practice to become enlightened in this life, all right? And the second method is to understand the various sufferings, okay? The 3 sufferings, the 6 sufferings, and the 8 sufferings, okay? So that is ngenjung, renunciation. How about bodhicitta? There are 2 ways to develop bodhicitta. The first one is the exchange of self and others. And then second one is the 7 steps, cause and effect, or mother's meditation. In fact, if you remember DCI level 8, there is one more meditation called exchange and then equality, right? This equality basically step 0 of the 7 steps. And of course, we can combine these 2 based on Trijang Rinpoche teaching, is the 13 steps, cause and effect. So this is how to develop the bodhicitta. How to develop the correct worldview? Basically, I just presented to you to do your reflection, your meditation on the, of course, you can use the Mahamudra when you go through the different worldview, but you can also do your review on the 3 groups, right? The functionalist, the independent, and the consequence. And then you can use these 3 groups to analyze about the dependent, to analyze about the pen, to analyze about the selfless. And finally, you can also do the analysis of dependence and emptiness, the 2 extremes. The 2 extremes according to the middle way, and then how you resolve this according to both the independent and the consequence, okay? All these are just theory, okay? To really use it in your life, you need to learn the meditation. So I am giving you the opportunity to really, who wants to learn the meditation, I can set some time and then we can learn together so that you can apply all this in your life. All right. So this is ACI level 1, ACI course 1. I hope it is useful to you. And I hope you are in the Telegram group. And I hope to see all of you in ACI 2. I forgot the date, but you can refer to the Telegram, right? Let me have a quick look. Oh yeah, it's here, February 6 to 10. Okay, February 6 to 10. So that's all. Any questions? Any more questions? Grace, no stupid questions. You can ask more questions. Oh, Iris, you're not in Telegram. All right, let me give you now. I thought all of you in Telegram, but anyway, it's okay. Okay, and yeah, thank you very much for our translators today. Rini from Indonesia and Grace from Vietnam. For Vietnam team, Ivo is helping me to coordinate all this. Thank you, Ivo. Yeah, and then for Indonesia, we have many representatives here. Why do we learn ACI? I like to talk about the snow on the mountain, right? Snow on the mountain. Yeah, we just went to Japan, and then on the way back, we flew over the Mount Fuji, and it's so beautiful. We can see the snow up there, you know. So snow on the mountain. And then the snow will melt and the water will flow down. So in our worldview organizations, we have ALL, used to be known as ACIP, ACIP, and ACIP ALL will go and collect all this ancient literature as the source. And then Mixed Nuts, led by Geshe Michael, will start to translate them. And then ACL will make them into courses in the form of ACI foundation courses, ACI advanced courses. And then we have Lamrim. We used to have Kamala Shila teaching. And then we have Nagarjuna teaching. And then we have the Medicine Buddha retreat. All these came from the snow on the mountain. All these came from the translation effort by the Mixed Nuts team. And then from ACI, then we make it into, we take away we make it applicable to the mass. And that is when we start to teach them in what we call in the DCI world. All right. So if you come to my classes, you will, I always like to link between these two. Where do you find this in DCI, for example? Okay. When I teach DCI, I don't have much chance to talk about ACI. But when I teach ACI, I have a lot of opportunity to ask you, where is this in DCI? So when you know how they are linked together, you will start to appreciate, wow, the teaching is very amazing. Yes, learning DCI alone is enough. Okay, for application, it's okay, it's enough. But for people who want to go deeper, why is 4 steps? Why do we learn 4 steps? Where do 4 steps come from, for example? Like yesterday in the Mixed Nuts Q&A, last night, somebody asked me, how do the 4 powers work? I don't know whether anybody of you was there, right? I think Anna Ilia from Romania asked me, how do I use 4 powers? How do we know that it works? Why is it working, you know? So imagine if you don't understand the ACI, how will you answer the questions? Oh no, my teacher told me we can get rid of the bad seeds using the 4 powers. But understanding ACI, understanding Wheel of Life, we can explain that better. So DCI is enough to transform your life. But if you want to go deeper, if you want to understand the reason behind the life tools, then ACI or even mixed nuts will be very helpful. All right. So that is my answer. Well, yes, to a lot of people, I always tell them, if you only want to change your life, you come to DCI. But like me, if you're curious why those are useful, then I invite you to come to ACI. All right. All right. Any more questions? Grace, no more stupid questions. You can ask some more. I don't know. I like to disturb Grace. Okay, if there is no more questions, I think thank you very much. And I hope to see you in ACI 2, 6th of February. All right. Thank you. I'm still thinking, yeah, good. I'm going to send the PowerPoint to the group and you can meditate on them, okay? Okay, have a good... Oh, yeah, thank you to Ryan for helping me to be the IT host, okay? Okay, bye-bye.